In his 1948 Pulitzer Prize-winning poem, The Age of Anxiety, W. H. Auden sought to examine humanity's quest to find its way in a modern, fast-changing, and increasingly industrialized world. Auden wrote, "We would rather be ruined than changed. We would rather die in our dread than climb the cross of the moment and let our illusions die." The Age of Anxiety, observes journalist and author Daniel Smith, came to characterize the consciousness of our era, the awareness of everything perilous about the modern world, the degradation of the environment, nuclear energy, religious fundamentalism, threats to privacy and the family, drugs, pornography, violence, terrorism. As a sticker on the bumper of the Western world, the Age of Anxiety has become ubiquitous for more than 6 decades now. We see ourselves as living in more stressful times, James Gross, one of the world's top experts on emotions and emotion regulation, once told me in an interview. But it is also true that in many historical periods, people seemed to think they were in the most stressful times ever. I had been busy typing notes as he spoke, but this stopped me cold. "What are you saying?" I asked. "It's actually a very common experience to see yourself as living in a particularly stressful period," he continued. "I'm questioning the premise that we're living in necessarily more stressful times." It was the first time I'd questioned the assumption that we're living in the most stressful times. This notion of stresses and stressors, of feeling constantly overwhelmed, has become so commonplace in our society that the terrible anxiety of our times and the havoc it wreaks on our mental and physical health is a given, widely accepted as near dogma. Yes, things seem bad, and at times awful. But if it is true that our circumstances are not, taken on the whole, better or worse than our predecessors, then why the stress epidemic? Did we just get better at identifying and diagnosing? Leaving aside the unanswerable question of just who had it worse, us or our ancestors, let us consider for a moment what is an irrefutable fact of our times and unprecedented in the history of humankind, that we are now much more aware of events, both global and hyperlocal, than ever before. We have unparalleled access in real time and conveyed through image and sound to polarizing and upsetting events near and far, streamed to us through media on a slew of devices, including one most of us carry on our bodies constantly, as if it were an appendage. Our nervous systems, built to seek out information all around us in an adaptive way, have a field day with this level of access. By knowing about threats, we reason, we may be able to prevent them from happening to us, so we seek out bad news, effectively bombarding ourselves, virtually around the clock, with negative information. So while in this era we must deal with our own specific set of stressors, both big and small, traffic gridlock, constantly buzzing devices and multitasking in the best of scenarios, economic meltdowns, global warming, and terrorism in the worst, our brains process these stresses in the same way as our ancestors' brains did when they faced dire life or death circumstances. The difference is, we endure them constantly. Echoes from the past. Continual access means that we're exposed to more potential stressors throughout the day, but access alone does not solve the puzzle of why, within 1 century, our leading causes of death shifted from tuberculosis, pneumonia, and influenza to a range of maladies that can be caused or made worse by stress: heart disease, cancer, adult-onset diabetes, and Alzheimer's. An important clue to this question lies in the era of Mad Men, with an unlikely set of malefactors and their nefarious agenda. Yes, this book has a villain, and that villain is not stress. While the stress response itself is as old as life, our concept of stress is reasonably modern. It hails back to a group of